fine, then it's great. We go, oh, that's great. And then if it turns out that there's a select amount of people that um, B12 supplements and bivalves for some reason don't give them B12 that they need, and it affects their brain health, then I would say at that point we might want to factor in some kind of laws where we say, okay, we'll take the smallest amount of animal products we need to let these people have the choice to be healthy, even if it harms animals. And so doing that reverse way, I'm in favor of as well.
So would you say the same for like humans? So like if there was a select amount of humans that just couldn't survive, um, if they didn't eat, you know, one human every month or something like that?
Yeah, no, I wouldn't. And because I have a pretty strict answer for why I think we
Okay,
treat humans the way we do. So, and I'm currently writing a book about this. Um,
nice.
but imagine humans in the wild. So we have a society with laws, or we just have the wild. So you're living in the wild. You're living in groups of like 20 humans. It's like imagine a group of 20 chimps or something like that. The reason why it's best to start a society with laws and prisons and law enforcement is because what humans want more than anything else is to survive. We want to live. So we want food, water, shelter. But separate from those three things, what we want is to not be killed. So we want protection. You could also factor in we don't want to be enslaved, or we don't want to be like physically harmed. We don't want to have our arms cut off. We don't want to be punched a whole bunch. So we want protection from harm. And so the reason we start a society, we might get a group of thousands of people together, millions of people together, and say, hey, the difference between this and nature is we lose our freedom to harm people, but we gain protection from being harmed. So anybody that is harmed, they get put in this prison for whatever reasonable amount of time based on the harm. Death, they'd be put in prison for life. And if they punch somebody in the face, maybe they're put in prison for a day or a week. And so based on this harm, we just have this mutual benefit of we humans know that we want to not be harmed and we want to continue living. And so we have the ultimate, most important part of having a society be that the government protects any living human from these issues. And therefore, because it's a mutual benefit for everyone, even a person that desires eating another human and might need eating another human for health, they get the ultimate benefit of not being harmed from humans. So to be in the society, you have to sacrifice that want. Like a serial killer has to sacrifice that want to get joy from killing somebody else. And same thing would go from getting a health benefit from eating somebody else. And then everything else is secondary in my mind. I think that's the most important thing that you look at is that mutual benefit. Then we can go on to morals and all these different things. But anybody that doesn't want that, I think, should move out of their society and go and live in nature. So so after that, then I think we can move on to morals. But you wouldn't feel protected in your society if you didn't know that your government protects you as humans.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm not positive I agree that um the main objective is survival. Um
Why
I-
would you want to be part of a society? Like what would be more important to
um
you than protection?
well-being.
Well, how can
I
you have a
I
well-being without protection?
well I think we might value protection because we value well-being. But if it were the case that not having protection actually increased well-being, I think we'd pick that.
Oh, I guess I just like in that hypothetical where you could magically know that that happened to magically work out. Sure, but
Okay.
um, but I don't think you can because I think the well-being would come from the protection. That's why we assume we don't have well-being. Kind of you're talking about the zoo might be more preferable to nature because we know they don't have the well-being in nature because they don't have the protection. The zoo is the protection. So creating a nice, good sanctuary zoo for animals. I don't know if it's right or wrong, but the reason we would assume it's right, if we assumed it's right, is because we are offering that protection. I think the protection has to be number one. I almost view something like free speech as more important than protection, but it goes hand in hand because before you get protected, you are free to do, you have every negative rights freedom in nature. You're free to do whatever you want. You have to sacrifice things to get the protection. And so I really can't factor anything in there that can be better for humans than protection, aside from if you are protected and can't have food, water, or shelter, then you're just protected from harm from others, but you don't have your needs to survive. So there are some complications in there.
Yeah, it does kind of go back to the whole fire situation, um,
Mm,
where I wouldn't want to be protected to the point where someone wouldn't be able to kill me to save the 100 people or in the fire.
gotcha. Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah.
I see the potential of having just like pragmatically having some protection. Um, I see the benefit of it, but at the same time, yeah, I don't think that's the main objective.
Mm, gotcha. Interesting. Um, Yeah, yeah, and it's pretty complicated, and we can break it down further. When I finish some of the writing I'm doing on it, I'll send it your way, and then if you have any like challenges for me or something, that'd be a fun talk. But yeah, cool. I think that might be a good place to wrap it up.